All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Mess in the Middle. And I'm your host, Audra. And today I want to welcome to the show Faith. And she's got a lot of really cool experience, not only in her own business, but also some tips that she can provide you to help you keep moving through the middle. So, Faith, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm always honored to get to speak to and love on somebody else's people because you've done a great job of helping your people with working through the mess.
And working through the mess.
Working through the mess and keep moving forward. And so thank you for having me today.
Of course. So let's start off a little bit about telling our audience, where do you show up on the planet? How are you serving? Things like that.
How am I serving? Oh my goodness. The better question is, how am I not serving? I feel
Yeah. Okay.
So I am a I'm a wife of one, mom of two, fixing to be three. We're baking one in the oven right now. And
Nice.
we serve at church. I'm a worship leader there. And then I have barrel horses and I rodeo when I'm not big and pregnant. And then on the quote side, I'm using air quotes here, is I have an SEO consulting and copywriting business with an education
Very nice.
in there. Yeah. So as far as the business world goes, I focus on SEO and copywriting and then educating other business owners on how to use the power of SEO in a simple way to get more traffic to their website and more sales from their website. So they don't have to shake their butt and point in the air and be on social media 24/7 to generate leads.
Right.
I don't have that kind of time. I want to be with my
Right.
family and with my kids when I'm with them.
That's beautiful. I don't know if you follow Alex Hermosi at all.
Mm-mm. No.
No, he's a pretty big internet or business guy. I don't want to just say limit him to internet marketing, but huge book launch this weekend. And the reason I bring it up is because he touches on some of the same stuff.
Mm.
We're working too hard, we're chasing too many things. And the launch was over a new book that he just launched called 100 Million Leads, I believe is what it's called.
Mm.
And the point of bringing that up is it goes back to what you just said, focusing on the right things at the right time. So you're not completely spread out, having to do 20 things and
Mhm.
getting little to no results.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure.
So,
And that's definitely my tendency. I am
okay.
the person who I I define multi-passionate, I feel like some days. Like
Yeah.
I love to write and sing and have horses and play sports and go for runs, and like my husband hunts and we'll go hiking and fishing and camping and like all of these things all over the board that I'm passionate about, and I'm overly passionate about almost everything. I feel like
It's one extreme or the
oh,
other.
like God bless my family that gets to hear about all of my opinions and healthy eating and stuff. And so, but I just had to come to the point where I realized if I want to make traction,
Yeah.
I can't make traction in all of the things at all at the same time. And so I have to pick I have to prioritize, like in my
Mhm.
life, what do I want to look back on when I'm 80, 100 years old, and what's going to matter? And then to
Mhm.
actually move the needle forward in the things that do matter, and to move the needle forward in the areas that are going to make what matters most possible. Because I
Okay.
want to be with my kids. I actually homeschool as well, so that's fun. And so,
So you're
so
not doing anything. You're sitting around having coffee all day.
oh my gosh, right? Like my coffee that I just chugged before we started talking was cold.
Yeah,
Not
of
on
course.
purpose, not on
Of course.
purpose. And so it's just a matter of what matters most. How can I put the pieces together well? And how can I resource myself to really shore up my weaknesses so that I'm not squirrel brained all over the place all the
Mhm.
time? Because I literally have a new business idea maybe every week, if not more often.
Yeah.
And it's no, Faith, you can't make traction on 87 businesses at once right now. Put your head down,
Mhm.
do the work on one business, make it work, and then
Mhm.
fine. You want to start another business? After that one's up and running, yeah, go for it. But I don't want to be scatterbrained. And I
Mhm.
am naturally. And so I have to work
Mhm.
really hard to keep myself focused and to keep things from being too crazy messy in the process.
So let's dig in a little bit about your work. So most of the people listening to this are either working a job,
Mhm.
and building a side hustle enough to replace their income. I don't want to call it a side hustle. It's their business, but they're not able to delegate as much time
Right.
to it.
Mhm.
Once that gets to enough revenue where they can replace their W-2, then typically they'll make that pivot. When you're balancing a lot of different things, how do you manage the time? Meaning, okay, I've got 10 hours a week or 20 hours a week I'm going to devote to my business. Am I spending it on social media? Am I spending it on writing copy? Am I working on a website? I mean, there's a lot of moving parts there. How do you balance that for yourself?
So I work generally 15 to 20 hours a week. 20 hours a week is a
Okay.
good week. Is a good
Okay.
week, and that does not happen very often. This week I have family in town and I just cut a day and a half of work out. Like boom, chop, pray for me.
I think the work's easier than the family part.
I love my family. I want to
Course.
hang out with them, but I'm like, I have
Course.
to get stuff done. So
Right.
for me, I want everything to start from the top down. Like I am a
Okay.
visionary by nature. I can hire somebody to help me
Okay.
if I have the vision to give them. And I
Okay.
have
Good.
one part-time employee, and then I have 2, 3 interns. I'm in the process of migrating people in and out, so I don't know how many are like active.
Okay.
So I have a couple interns, one part-time person. So we're pretty small scale.
Mm-hmm.
But my job is to create the strategy behind everything and then
Mm-hmm.
check in.
Good.
And I create like the top level content and then we repurpose really strategically. But I don't give two hoots about social media right now. Like
Okay.
it's poop.
Explain why.
Because for one thing, for my business, I'm
Mm-hmm.
helping business owners make more money from their website.
Okay.
I'm not helping them make more money on social media.
Okay.
So I did really invest my time pretty heavily in social media for a while, just because that's where I was. I was like seeing everybody else doing it. Like I still had the website and that and my copy. But then I just realized like I literally have maybe 2 or 3 leads from all of this work
Wow.
versus I can put my time and my effort into long form content that I can repurpose, but I don't have to be the one doing it on the
Okay.
repurposing side. I can teach that strategy
Mm-hmm.
very
So are
easily.
you okay? I'm sorry. So are you still posting on social media or not at all?
I am I have a Facebook group
Okay.
that for my business that we post on, but I haven't posted on Instagram since January, literally.
Okay.
And then I have like my personal Facebook that I like talk about how dumb I am when I burn all my food and post pictures
Right,
of my
right.
horses. Like, nobody cares about my business on there. But like my income over the last year has increased by 6x. And
Oh,
I have
good for
just,
you.
yeah, yeah, it's a huge blessing. Glory to God. But I just had to be really intentional about where I'm spending my time. And Instagram wasn't doing it for me. So
Okay.
I work on my podcast. That
Okay.
is where I'm kicking butt and taking names. And then I repurpose to my blog. And then I repurpose that to my social media. I repurpose the podcast and the blog to my like Facebook group. And then I
Hmm.
nurture the heck out of my email list. And I have like 50 to 60% open rate on
Great.
my email
That's
list.
great.
Yeah.
That's really good. So
Mhm.
your front door is your podcast.
Yeah.
And how often do you do that?
Twice a week.
Twice a week. You publish twice a week?
Yep.
Okay. And what is the topic you cover?
I speak almost exclusively on SEO. So I went really niche and really
Yep.
gangbusters on SEO and simple SEO, how to use search engine optimization and keywords and blogging and website strategy to get more leads, get more traffic, and grow your business.
Hmm.
That's one of the things where I had to really rein in all of these multi-passionate things about myself. I would love to talk about healthy eating, but that's not going to help you grow your business.
Mm-mm.
It can, but that's a fringe thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
People aren't going to an expert on healthy living because they also talk about business, right? We can find experts in every niche now. And so if
Right.
I want to be seen as an expert, I do need to niche down. And that's done really well for me. Sometimes I'm like, how many more times can I talk about this? But then I'm like, oh, wait, nope, there's this question, and there's this question, and there's this question. And so content is endless. It
Yeah.
really is. And so I need to figure out how to do it right and do it
Hmm.
in a way that moves the needle forward.
Hmm.
And it really does. It really does, especially when you focus on the big picture instead of the individual social media posts that live and die in 24 hours, if that.
which is a super big challenge. Any business owner that I talked to lately, sorry, my allergies are killing me. They are scrambling with this. Which platform should I be on? Where do I put all my energy? To the point where it gets so fragmented, like you said, they just don't see any results. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, I posted 10 times on social media this week and sent out one email and maybe did one podcast or added a blog article. I think it's almost watered down
Mm-hmm.
results because they're not focused just on that one thing. Now, did something change in your business to say, look, I'm doing all this stuff, I'm not getting anywhere. I really need to niche down and just do three things: one offer, one funnel, and one place to get traffic?
I think I love business and strategy and business growth. I have always loved it. I love marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I have stories of when I was like 7 years old pretending to sell stuff. I have been the
Good.
kid that's always interested in that. And I love teaching that big picture stuff. But I just realized that I could understand SEO in a way that other people couldn't. Everybody's struggling with it. Like, it's stupid
Mm-hmm.
complicated, most of the stuff out there. And I was like, oh, if this is hard for me, it's hard for other people. And I'm able to break it down in a way that makes sense for other people. And I was
Nice.
seeing huge results for clients because I have the copywriting and the SEO side of my business. And I was seeing just astronomical results with clients using the SEO strategies that I was testing. And so I thought, man, if I just really hone in and focus on this, I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to help more people and I'm going to have to work less. And
Yeah.
or just like work more strategically and make better money that way. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I didn't really plan on completely abandoning Instagram. It was a we'll see. But my church does, we generally do the 10-day fast at the beginning of the year. And we did that.
Nice.
And I was like, I already eat really healthy. I'm not like, there's nothing I can cut out in my diet. Let's cut out social media because that's a distraction. And I just found like that I had so much more peace and I was so much more available for my children. I wasn't constantly thinking about how to create content. Where can I shoot this video so that my kids aren't in it? Because I don't put my kids on the internet,
Yeah.
just a personal preference. But and so I just was like, I realized I was able to do better at the things that mattered most to me. And it didn't affect my business at
Mm.
all. And part of that is my social media following was built more towards helping people get started in business, which is
Okay.
not really where I found my strong suit. I just start the thing. I don't need my handheld to do it. And
Right.
which some people do. And there are
Some
people that
people
are
do.
amazing at that, but not me. I'm like, why haven't you just done it?
Just go.
That's me. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean you've been waiting 4 years to start a business? Start 4 years ago. And so I wasn't the person who was going to be like, let me hold your hand while you start.
Yeah.
And so I just realized that long term, that's not where I wanted to invest my time.
Mhm.
And I have one of my best friends has done phenomenal on social media, has 100,000 followers and does really well. And so it's
Mhm.
not like I hate social media. It just
Right.
wasn't the best fit for me. And I may still go back to posting on there. It's just like, why bother right now? I'm not missing it.
Mm.
So it was an accident actually. And then it became a game of how long can I go without posting?
Yeah. So that the reason why I wanted to explore that a little bit is because some people hate social media.
Mm,
They just don't want to use it, but it's counter, it goes against everything what everybody says about business. You have to be in social media, you have to be out there hawking your stuff. And you're a perfect example to show no, you don't. You
mhm,
can build your business in a way that is more congruent with your personality and your lifestyle and serve your people and
mhm,
still do very well. I think it's just a matter of getting back to what you said with focusing on exactly what your goals are,
mhm,
who you're going to serve, and then how is the best way for you to go about it. And
mhm.
at first, it may not be easy. How long do you think it took for you to really start seeing a difference and making that pivot or making that adjustment?
I had already started focusing on my long form content. Like I've always
Okay.
been long form minded, like
Yeah.
because I can take one blog and repurpose it into 15 social media posts. So why would I
Right.
spend my
Okay.
time on the 15 social media posts instead of the one blog? And so I had already been making my revenue from not social media. So it
Okay.
was pretty easy to cut that off. Now, if
Just
I
just
was
Get rid of extra. Okay.
Yeah. And if I had hindsight, I wish I would have cut that off way sooner,
Yeah.
just because I could have had more time to really focus on my podcast and really focus on my blog and collaborations if I wasn't so concerned about the likes and hearts and follows and whatever else.
Which at the beginning it's the only thing people get for some kind of feedback as to the
Mhm.
direction they're headed, but at the same
Right.
time, it's empty.
And it is
Because
hard
those,
because there's no way to leave a comment on a podcast episode.
right,
And it's a lot of steps and it's a lot of work for somebody to leave a review versus just double tapping. And so you don't get not just the affirmation, but you don't get the feedback like, hey, is this
right,
helpful as
right,
often as you do with that short form content. And
right.
so you do have to really look at other metrics and be able to
Mhm.
analyze your data from a bigger perspective and a little bit less don't get your feelers hurt perspective.
I bet. Yeah, I look at my podcast data now. I haven't been doing it as long as you, but so I look at it. Is there consistent growth? How
Mhm.
many different audiences or countries am I hitting? How long are they watching?
Mhm.
You will read reviews, of course, if somebody takes the time to put them up. But yes, the analytics are not as, what do I want to say? Like, it's not as not magnifying. It's not as clear as
Mhm.
to where they're headed versus the instant feedback of 10 different comments, likes, hearts, shares, any of
Mhm.
that kind of stuff is much quicker response or feedback that you're going in the wrong way or the
Right.
right way. I think one of the challenges though is people get lost in the I'm building an audience or I'm building a community. Now, let
Mm.
me tell you how I mean that there. An audience will be I'm posting to social media, I'm getting engagement, I'm
Mm.
getting likes, I'm getting comments, I'm getting shares, but it's typically friends,
Mhm.
family, or peers, but it's
Mhm.
not actually buyers.
Mhm. Yeah.
Until you move over to the community side of it, those are people that I'm listening to your stuff because I may want to buy from you, not
Mhm.
because you're my friend or you're my sister or you're
Right.
my coworker. And it's making that adjustment in your business to be able to actually just start serving buyers. I'll find that a lot of people get so fatigued from this other side of building an audience, they
Mhm.
burn out before they get to the place where they can actually have some deeper relationships.
Mhm.
Now, the reason I bring that up is because it goes back to what you said with focusing on just the people that you would serve or just your
Mhm.
audience. How would you suggest that somebody makes that transition?
That's a good question. So for me, it came down to where can I help people the best?
Okay.
And when I'm scrolling social media, like I am not looking for solutions. I'm looking for
No. Okay.
entertainment. I'm
Yeah.
looking for, oh, look, her fridge is nice and organized. And when was the last time I cleaned mine? I don't know. That's what I'm looking at on social media. I'm not looking for 5 steps to get more people in the door. When I want those kind of solutions, I'm either going to the internet, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
actually Googling something and reading a blog or watching a YouTube video where I can be
Mm-hmm.
fully invested in understanding and applying the solution
Mm-hmm.
and or listening to a podcast, right? If I'm looking for a solution to a problem, that's where I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
versus social media, I'm looking for connection and entertainment. And I'm funny, but I don't want to be funny for the camera all day every day, and that's not how I want
No.
to spend my life. And
No.
at least I think I'm funny. I laugh at my own jokes. I guess that's what matters, right? And
As long as we're entertaining to ourselves,
if
yeah.
your heart is to entertain people, then
Yeah.
social media might be fantastic for you. But
Yeah.
if you are like trying to provide a 3-step solution or provide a service, you've got to think about where people are going for solutions. Where do you go for solutions, right?
Yeah.
Like, where are you consuming content? And do you actually remember the last 5 posts you saw on social media? No, you don't.
Mm-mm.
But you probably remember the podcast that you listened to. And you
Yeah. Or the
probably
YouTube
remember,
video.
or the
I
YouTube
spend
video.
a lot of time on
Yeah.
YouTube.
And so
Yeah.
it's like, where can you make an impact? And that's
Hmm.
generally where you can find that you make an income.
Yeah. That's a great point. And I think that's very service directed.
Mhm.
So I want to recap what you just said because that's super important. When you guys are looking at social media, the important thing to do is think about the kind of content that you're posting. Faith just said, if it's a 5-step on how to do X, typically people are not scrolling Facebook or Instagram necessarily, definitely not Twitter, maybe LinkedIn a little bit if it's focused on business. But if you're just talking about the service industry, people are not looking for those kind of solutions there. If we
Mhm.
want to learn something, then we're going to go to Google search. We're going to go to which Google search ties to things that you've put on your website that gets
Mhm.
indexed
Mhm.
as solutions for those people. We're going to go to
Mhm.
YouTube and we're going to find a how to, or we're going to go to a podcast and we're going to listen to somebody step by step. That is more in depth, I believe. Now, let's flip that. What if they have a physical product? Now, does the scenario change if now I'm selling? So I'm not selling information, I'm selling this Rocket plugin. What is Rocketfish plugin? Does social media make more sense then? Or
I don't
not even then?
I don't think so. So actually most of my clients that I blog for do sell a
Mhm.
physical product. And
Okay,
the trick behind it is when you create a content strategy, everything should center around your why. Like
right.
the person who is creating that Rocket plugin, like hopefully, if their heart is to serve, their why is to make using technology easier for
Yeah.
somebody, right? So they can create a content strategy all around their why. So they don't have
Mhm.
to just create content around that silly plug. They can create
Mhm.
content around everything that making technology easier to use entails. So they can
Okay.
create content around different platforms and how those
Mhm.
different platforms work. They can create content on reviews on different types of computers in normal people language. So you don't have to be a tech guru to figure out which
Mhm.
computer is the best fit for you. They can create content around workflows and systems. They can create content around hiring your team. Anything, you don't want to get too crazy, but you can create 5 really meaningful content pillars
Okay.
around that why, and then sprinkle your product throughout so that you're not
Okay.
having to create 900 blogs on look at my rocket and feel like a broken
Those are
record
the
because
worst.
no they are and nobody reads
Yeah.
them. Everybody hates that.
Mhm.
And they could create content around organization, organizing your all of your dumb cords and plugs and all of the cutesy little crap to organize. There's content ideas are endless when you have
Yeah.
the heart to serve and you know your why.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think what we just talked about there is super powerful. And I hope that you guys take a few minutes to let that sink in. If you're on social media and you're not getting the results or the engagement, you're building an audience, people are paying attention, they're liking it, they're commenting, they're engaging where they think it's fun, but they're actually not buying,
Mhm.
then is that effort that you're putting into it really worth it?
Mhm.
Or is it better to take that energy and kind of pivot it a little bit and start on something that is going to take that audience or take that direction that you're going and get actually buyers? I talk to people all day long that talk about how busy they are. They're checking off tasks, they're posting, they're getting stuff done, but it's not moving the needle. It's not getting them any results at all. I'm like, wow, you just put in a 10-hour day. You got some massive tasks done. How
Mhm.
many sales did you get?
Mhm.
Well, I didn't get any, but I got in front of 10 more people. You know what? But again, go back to the amount of energy that you're putting out
Mhm.
and the actual result that you're getting for that. And
Mhm.
until you learn to pay attention to that, stop doing stuff that's not moving the needle. It
Mhm.
doesn't matter if everybody says you're supposed to be doing it. You're supposed to be making money
Mhm.
unless you have a hobby business, but it's better to just stop for a second and say, look, I've put in 30 days on social media. I've grown my following by 100 people. How many people have bought? None. Okay,
Mhm.
so maybe I cut back my posting, right? Look at the data. When are
Yeah.
people engaging? Maybe you only need to post Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
Then maybe that's the only time people are engaging. So you don't have to completely dismiss it or walk away from it. But once you've done it for a little while, only put in the effort that is required to keep that at the pace that it's going.
Mhm.
If you were growing, and you got 100 new people in the month, and people are only engaging on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and only post Tuesday and Thursday, take that energy and try to focus into something else that is going to try to generate more signups, lead magnets somewhere for an email list, or for getting traffic to your website.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
So let's pivot a little bit and talk about some of the cool stuff you do. Now, I know you've got a podcast, and I'll make sure that you guys have access to the link when this session goes live, because you can learn a ton of great stuff from her. So I don't want to go too far into it, but let's talk a little bit about how you use it for your business.
How I use podcasting or SEO?
SEO.
So whatever I create, I'm backwards a little bit in how I create. Like, I don't like to research and do keyword research first, because then I feel like it puts me in a box when it comes to content creation.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know. And then I'm like, because I'm a creative by nature a little bit. And so what I do is I have a master content list with 100 different things that I have access to all the time. And I always have ideas, and I write those down so that when I sit down to create content, I have ideas and I don't have to come up with something on the fly. But then what I'll do is I will everything I actually create, like I have the idea, and then everything I create through the lens of searchability. So for example, last time I did keyword research on this particular topic, like, people are not searching get more clients nearly as much as they're searching lead generation.
Oh, interesting.
And
what changed?
I don't know, but I would be remiss to create an entire article around get more clients when really people are searching. They're asking how to get more clients, but they're searching with their fingers lead generation, because you have to differentiate between what's coming out of people's mouths or going on in their head and what they're actually typing in. Because what goes on in your head and comes out of your mouth, like when you're searching for a restaurant, you have something going on in your head that maybe is different than what you actually type in to the search bar. And so everything I create through the lens of searchability and helping people, and also something that I enjoy, because I don't want to hate what I do.
Yeah, good.
But so generally I always create the podcast first, and then I repurpose that into the blog. But I'll outline my blog, like pretty much create a rough draft, and then I'll go in and do keyword research.
Oh, interesting.
And because words flow for me. I'm a talker, I'm a writer. Ain't nobody hurting for words over here. And so then I can make my words fit what is searched.
Nice.
Without feeling like I have to create in a box.
Yeah. So writing has not been a strong suit for me. I would say out of the two skills I've not learned from being a marketing agency owner is copywriting, or long form copy, and video. Those two I've always outsourced, and not they're bigger than what I want to learn right now. Anything else I can go toe to toe with the best. But until AI came, I know what I want to say. I just needed the help to format it better, or say it a little bit different, or shift it around because I had it out of order, or that has definitely helped my skills evolve. But at the same time, I have always tried to start with keywords, and I never realized it until you just said it. I feel forced, like I got to figure out how to put that word in, versus I just had a topic. I should have just ran with it. Instead, I tried to do it the other way around, and it's actually hard, because I was like, I don't know how to use that exact phrase as the article.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't talk like that.
And I think I don't know how I came up with it. I think I just got frustrated and was like, this sucks. I'm going to do what I want to do. And so I did, but it works really well. And in the human generated content versus AI generated content war that we are just now stepping into, right?
Yeah.
That having your topic first versus your keyword first automatically is going to put your content to show up as more authentic, because you're coming up with your stories based around your life instead of this keyword that you're like, I don't even know what that means. And so you're going to be able to come up with ideas from your own experience in your own life and speak more in your natural writing voice. So much easier than if you do the keyword research first.
That is definitely something I'm going to give a try next time I write some articles.
Mhm.
So let's talk a little bit about some of your clients that you work with. So you work with, you said some have physical products, some are service based,
Mhm.
or
And some are
okay,
digital entrepreneurs and they sell
okay,
courses and stuff like that. As far as my like content writing clients, because I do have clients that I do blog content for and then do their marketing for them. Most of them
nice.
are physical product businesses,
Okay.
but I have a lot of students that sell digital products that come and buy my courses and they're learning how to fish for
Hmm.
themselves instead of me having to do the fishing for them. And then
Hmm.
they'll book coaching calls for one-on-one strategy. But a lot of them, they have such amazing products and I just
Hmm.
love them so much. But
Hmm.
their copy, when it comes to their website copy, is just not doing them justice.
Yeah.
And their SEO strategy is either poop or non-existent. And
Hmm.
so they're not getting any traffic to their website at all.
Hmm.
Or when people get to their website, they're so confused and their copy's all over the place. And I'm like, settle down. Like, this is what you do right here. Let's figure out what you do, get that put into great verbiage, and move on and construct your copy in a way that is centered around your user
Hmm.
and your client instead of centered around you. And so those are some of the changes that we make, and we see some pretty cool results. One of my clients that I've worked with, I think we started, it's a done for you client. So it's like
Okay.
I did all of their website copy, all of their SEO strategy, and now I'm doing blogging for them. And they, to be fair, they didn't have much going on before this. They
Okay.
had a huge social media following, they had a website, but they're just sitting there. But we started working together in January, finished their website copy in February, started posting blog content in March, and their traffic has increased almost 1,500%.
That's awesome.
Mm.
That
Yeah,
is really awesome.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's really cool to see it work and get to use
Yeah.
that to help a company that I love and people that I love and products that
Hmm.
I love.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You guys, when it comes to marketing online and social media and your website and SEO and all this kind of stuff, we are aware that there's a lot of moving parts.
Hmm.
And it's really important that you focus the time and the energy because like Faith said, they may be doing multiple things and getting results. Think of it like a bicycle tire, and you've got all these spokes coming off of it. Each one of those are different marketing channels that could be going on in your business at the same time. But especially at the beginning, or if you're starting to get a little bit of momentum, really double down on what is working. And if it's not working, 30, 60, 90 days in, you got to pivot into something else and try. Maybe it's lead gen to an email, or it's like Faith said, doing long form copy and building up your SEO and search ability to get people to find you there. Maybe it's running paid ads if that's a strategy that would work for your product. It's not for everybody, but some people it works very well for.
Hmm.
The game changes and the conversation changes when you have revenue coming in.
Hmm.
So it's not, I just got to do this because that's what my competitor did, or I'm doing this because that's what my coach recommended, or you need to really look at the different marketing opportunities because they're all just channels and not all of them work for everybody the same way. Find one that gets you to revenue. And like I said, once money's coming in, you can hire, you can outsource, you can get help, you can get people to write long form blog content for you or post on social media. But without the revenue, you are so limited to be able to do anything outside of doing what you're doing now. And unfortunately, there's not will and hard work is a lot of times just not quite enough to get you through if you're fragmented and trying to do 5 different marketing at the same time.
You've got to think too, when you're, especially if this is your quote side hustle, you don't have time to learn how to master 5 different channels. Like
Right?
there's
Good
so
point.
many ins and outs and little innuendos on being successful in this channel. Like you don't have time to learn all of that. And so you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall in 5 different places.
Hoping something will stick.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you work with clients when you go in and they want you to do something that you don't believe is going to move the needle for them?
Oh, I tell them.
Good.
I'll shoot them straight. I've had people that they're like, oh, I want to do ongoing coaching. And I'm like, tell me about your business and blah, blah, blah. And I just tell them, listen, this isn't worth your money right now. Like where you should
Mhm.
put your money is here. You're not
Mhm.
making enough to pay me what I'm going to charge you. So I'm not going to let you hire me. Or
Yeah.
people will want to do, I just, in my heart of hearts, I want to serve people well and I want to
Yeah.
honor God in everything I do. And I would much rather lose a client or lose work and at the end of the day, sleep well, knowing that I
Mhm.
did right by them. And yeah, oh, if somebody
Agreed.
asks, I'll be like, oh no, that's dumb. Don't do that.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's when you're at that place where a client is a client,
Mhm,
I'll figure it out. I'll help them. I'll find a way to help them.
mhm.
But when you get to that place where you know you can't serve them, even though you would like to take their money, don't take their money.
And sometimes it's a matter of they'll ask me, can you do this? And I'll be like, I've never done it before, but I'll figure it out. And I'm
Right.
honest about that. I don't really know much about that, but I'll figure it out.
Hmm.
And
And we'll
sometimes,
learn together. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes there's an element of trust there because you've
Mhm.
done XYZ successfully for them, or they like you because of whatever
Mhm.
factor that they don't really even care if that's your lane of expertise. They just want to work with you.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And I've totally had clients like that where it's like, oh, yeah, that would be great. I don't know how to do it. But if you want me to figure it out, I'll figure it out. Because sometimes
Mhm.
I'll recommend this person or
Yeah.
this person, and they can either go with those recommendations or not. And there's some things I just like, I'm not doing anymore. Like, I'm not building websites for people anymore. That makes me want to
Yeah, I don't
bang
do
my
it.
head against that wall right there.
Yeah, I don't do it too much anymore. I think I've got like over 500 in my history
Oh,
of what I've
wow.
built. Yeah.
That's,
I could
I,
throw up I could throw up a website pretty fast these days,
that's
but
impressive. I did not sustain that many head banging moments. I was like, no,
yeah.
no.
I build on WordPress, so
Mhm.
when builders came, it changed the whole situation
Mm.
and you're able to build them fairly fast now. But okay, so I'm working through the middle, I'm spread out. Some of the lessons that people should take away from this is really slow down, look at the data, stop trying to go based on emotion. Because I know that a lot of you, if you dig into the results that you're looking at, your mother liking and sharing your post, like
Mhm.
mine does
Mhm.
not count as a share.
God bless all the moms and
I
aunts who
love
do
her.
that, right?
I know. And my kids, it's all good. And that gets in front of other people and everybody cheers me on, but they're not my buyers.
Yeah,
There's a time and a place for all of that. And not that you're ungrateful for any
right.
minute of any attention that anybody gives you like that, trying to cheer you on. But we do need to focus on what's going to move the needle from a revenue standpoint
Mhm.
because we want to stay in business. As your people come through, how do you get to a place where I'm only working 20? So do you do it? I want to make X amount of dollars, and this is how many hours I have to work to get there, clients to get there, or do you do it the other way around?
My hours are pretty hard and fast, so there's not a lot
Right.
of wiggle room there. And I actually have a spreadsheet that I
Okay.
created where it's okay. And I look at my KPIs every month and I'm like, okay, I'm growing
Okay.
here, I'm growing here. This is what my sales look like from this. This is about what I can expect. Are they lining up with what I can expect? Okay, this was a summer month, everybody's on vacation. Take that
Mhm.
into consideration. So I look at my KPIs every month. And then I also have a spreadsheet and a really good workflow. So I am kick butt efficient in what I do. But then like my spreadsheet that I started off with that I don't even have to look at much anymore, I know that this kind of client takes me X amount of hours a month. I can handle this much. This is
Mhm.
how many hours my VA is going to have to help me on this project. So
Mhm.
ultimately, this client generates this much revenue with this much expense. And to hit my revenue goals, I can either have 3 type A clients and 2 type B
Mhm.
clients, or this many coaching clients and this many and versus like the education side of my business, I can put this much time and effort into podcast creation, blog creation. This is growing my audience this way and pitching. And you have to go with what's working too and what's available. I actually just shifted my copywriting strategy mostly because I'm having another kid in December. And I'm like, I don't know how much, yeah, like I'm taking maternity leave. I don't really want a bunch of ongoing
Yeah.
projects. So I have actually shut off my full website copywriting
Oh.
like until the end of March. Those spots are full. And I'm doing VIP days.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm like, I can go gangbusters for a day.
Hmm.
But as far as, so I just have to
Yeah.
look at what's my life, what's coming
Hmm.
up, the seasons that we're in, and how many of each type of client I can take versus
Hmm.
the education and audience quote. I've never used the word community just because I suck at Facebook probably, but like your community, your version of community
Yeah.
versus my email list. And so I try to balance it all out there. And really, honestly, I just pray about it and I trust the Lord. And I'm like, hey, God, what do I need to
Point
focus
me.
on right now? And
Mhm.
bring me the clients that you want me to have at the right time. And He's really blessed me there. And so it all works out.
That's awesome. I love the fact that you're managing KPIs, even
Mhm.
though it's you and a couple of VAs. I can't tell you how many times I've heard a small or a solo entrepreneur or a solo in a VA say, I don't know how to do KPIs. I'm not big enough to worry about it.
Mhm.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. And I actually do all the KPIs, but I'm looking at probably different things than a lot of people are. As far as I have a pretty streamlined offer suite, I'm not
Good.
offering 97 things.
Right.
And so that's really easy to be like, okay, I've had this many coaching clients for with my email list of this size and podcast downloads of
Right.
this size. And I've got it all in a spreadsheet and formulas. And it took some time to set up
Hmm.
and some time to tweak because the standard KPI formula that I was using wasn't quite right for my offers
Okay.
price tag.
Yeah.
And so as I increase my prices, I'm going to have to just adjust that and tweak that a little bit too. But it's nice to know and that, okay, this is about what I have coming in. This is what I can expect. And it's really nice. Mm-hmm.
That's really good. I know there's lots and lots of things on YouTube. People can go and learn how to do KPIs if they're unfamiliar with that. You'll be surprised on how much you're spending on software versus how close you are on your goals versus what your growth looks like, customer retention, which products are selling. Until you actually start digging into the data, I don't think 100 out of 100 clients that I actually get to start digging into the data,
Mm-hmm.
not one of them realized where their business was.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they looked at their bank account and yes, they saw growth in sales, but really digging into the data, not one of them.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it's good to be able to have some kind of point of reference, even if it's not down to some of them can get really crazy, but just start with some of the basics and look at the data and stop making all these emotional decisions.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird. We start business with emotion and
Mm-hmm.
passion and drive. And we forget that we need to pivot out of that and grow up into the adult business owner,
Mm-hmm.
maybe, where we're
Mm-hmm.
looking at numbers and data
Mm-hmm.
and retention and all that kind of good stuff. So
And time
time
tracking too.
tracking.
Like,
Yeah.
how much time are you actually spending on stuff?
Yeah.
That's huge because most people have no idea
No,
how much time things take them. And so, yeah, you're like, oh, I'm just on social media. Yeah, but really? Are you just on
that was
social media
4
for 5
hours
minutes a day?
ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So as we wrap up this, what would be one last piece of advice that you would give somebody that's just listened to this? Where do I start? Okay, you guys just told me a lot of great options. Where do I start?
Oh, man. If you don't have a website, you need a website because
Okay.
if you're not building on a website, building your online presence and your marketing strategy around a website, then you're building it on rented ground. And you're
Okay.
trying to construct this house on something that Mark Zuckerberg owns,
Yeah.
which God bless Mark Zuckerberg. But if one day he decides that people that have blonde hair and wear glasses and have tattoos and just broke their wrist, like you're
Out.
just out of business, right? If there's like you're just out and you're out of business and you're up a creek without a paddle. And so versus if you have a website, you own that
Right.
domain, you own that email list. So let's start building around your website and really
Mhm.
using your website strategically. And that there's so many fun factors that go into that with SEO and blogging and repurposing, but if you're thinking let's build on ground I own first,
Yeah.
then you're going to be so far ahead of the game.
Hmm. Agreed. I can't even add anything to that. That is one thing that has served me very well over the years. Own
Mm-hmm.
the real estate that you're on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you so much for being here, Faith. This has been great.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, you guys, until next time, keep moving through the middle.